What's up, everybody? It's Left Look. Today's Sunday, August the 13th, and I'm here as always with my two best friends, DJ.
Howdy, partner.
And Jacob.
Hello, brother Julian.
Hello.
Brother Julian.
And, yeah, it's Left Look.
It sure
What's up
is.
with you guys?
Oh, you know, same old, same old. I'm here.
That's good.
Eh.
I love that.
Yeah, being present, being existing. Those are
Thank you
those
for
are
that,
things.
brother DJ.
Yeah, you know, I'm doing all I can.
Yeah.
So,
Should I just tear through this?
yes, please.
This is a premier independent podcast from the Gatto Institute, where we'll be taking a look at Canadian and international arts, culture, and entertainment to provide you with an unbiased left-wing perspective. Voici le podcast indépendant par excellence de l'Institut Gatto, où nous examinerons l'art, la culture, le divertissement canadien et international pour vous offrir une perspective impartiale de gauche.
Oh wow, impeccable.
That was quick, I feel.
Yeah.
This was you. This was you, Julian. That was you. You tore it up.
Ripped the Band-Aid off. Oh, you tore it up. I see.
You tore it up.
I was much more negative in my understanding. I apologize. I was just leaving that empty silence there because I was hoping you would get through that, so I would have time to think about what I was going to say on the other side. Because there's no apologies to be made this week. So I was just going to jump right into the first article, which was. Today is International Lefties Day, and I was just going to read from this article.
Is it
Lefties
today?
Day?
Yeah. So
like
Morrison,
left-handed.
You blew my joke.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's good enough. Yeah, it's International Left-Handed Day. I was going to discover it on air. You both
We discovered it for you.
ruined me.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no way we get a day.
Yeah. No, that was what going to be the point of the joke, basically, too, is we don't get a day. Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
And then to call it International Lefties Day? Come on.
Yeah, May Day is suppressed, right? Which is our actual holiday. And then they have Labor Day in September just to confuse people, even though Labor Day is on May Day.
Which has just been bastardized anyways.
Disgusting.
Yeah, hideous. Hey, enjoy the last weekend of summer, folks. Go out and buy everything you can. Why is it called Labor Day? Oh, don't worry about it.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, happy International Left-Handed Day. I don't want to take that away from people. I just wanted to make a very shitty joke and then continue into our weekly apology bit by apologizing for that shitty joke.
You always gotta have something, eh?
Yeah, thanks,
Always gotta have one apology locked and loaded.
I have lots this week. I'm gonna limit it just so we're not eating up so much time with bullshit, But
Sure, we might have to. We might have to just
we hate
have
to
a bullshit
eat up time with
episode.
bullshit.
Yeah, that's all we have to eat
Yeah.
here. You think Charles caters?
You guys make me feel so good about the product we put our soul into. Guy Debord is the author of Society of the Spectacle. I couldn't remember it while we were on air. I heard myself this week going, who wrote Society of the Spectacle? And I could see myself in my mind's eye turning to my bookshelf and looking for it. And I was listening in my shed smoking a gigantic amount of weed. And I went, it's Guy Debord. How do you not know that? You idiot, Jacob.
Clearly,
How do you spell that just for everybody?
Guydebord.
Okay. Guy Du Bois, the Americans.
Guy Debord, no A. Anyways,
wonder what kind of timber they're sawing. You think it's pine?
That's fucking funny.
No, it's not.
I caught that one at least, so I'm gonna give you your credit because once again, another week of me just passing over brilliant jokes by you, DJ.
Yeah.
I think the problem is you gotta record in that shed.
That'd be fun.
I did hit a little bit of the magic sauce this week just so I would relax a little and not be like such a bloodhound on the point. And that's why I worked up that little whimsical August the 13th joke, left-handed day that you guys ruined so spectacularly.
Yeah, hi. That's what we're here for. We don't contribute. We just ruin things.
In another episode, I referred to some wargaming that I was doing in my head about how the U.S. would take on China, and I was referring to how I would carve up China afterwards if I was a victorious America, and it made in the the throes of me wargaming in my head, my little map game in my head, I said the words "freed Tibet," and Julian laughed, and I glossed over it. And he was right to laugh. Tibet doesn't need to be freed, right? It was liberated by Mao, right? Like
Yes.
the society that Mao invaded was disgusting, and that's the correct view, but. I would frame it as I had freed Tibet if I was the American, overlord invading. The bit stands, but I'm still apologetic because he's correct. And then the third bit is I am really sorry for the transphobia thing that we engaged in. Me especially. I said one line like, "It's a she" after being. Confused about the gender of some character we were talking about. It's unimportant. Her status as a person is unimportant to this furthering my transphobia. But fuck, we'll get there one day. But anyways,
he digs one hole and throws the dirt over his shoulder into the other hole.
One day, this Ouroboros of fucking apologies will settle itself, but I really just wanted to apologize for policing Julian, because I do that too much.
Well, somebody
and
has
Julian's
to.
an intelligent guy, and he knows that he's joking, and he can dance up to the line on his own, like a big boy.
Yeah, and fall on it.
You
Fall
do
over
from
it.
time to time.
I trip on that line. What was I gonna say? Oh, the easy out there when you say if you mentioned you allegedly said that it's a she, you just meant it, the pronoun. Boom, done. You're out of
They
that.
don't identify as it.
No, the pronoun.
Good.
The pronoun itself is it.
Yeah, I think most people would find that distasteful at the very least, if technically correct. Technically correct is the worst kind of correct.
That's true.
Not, according to what's his name from Futurama, the Jamaican guy, Conrad.
Oh yeah.
Technically correct
Hermes.
is the best type of. Yeah, you're right. Hermes Conrad. But anyways, that's for bureaucrats, and we're not that.
No,
Try to
we're
be fair
not.
to you.
I always loved the lore building they did just for the like weird society of bureaucracy that had no right being as deep as it was. But they just went, yeah, there it is. They've got a whole secret world of bureaucracy. Don't look into it too much.
I thought it was brilliant,
Yeah.
but whatever. The whole show was brilliant.
Yeah, very
Way
well
ahead of-
written.
Way ahead of The Simpsons, and The Simpsons was, like the pinnacle of culture, according to some people, right?
Yeah,
The
Julian.
guy just slapped over his whole career. We'll just give Matt Groening the crown. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about next?
I did have something insightful moments ago, but I've since forgotten about it, which is really unfortunate.
That's shitty.
Shit, man.
Yeah, sometimes we're talking about a thing and I go, yeah, I should expand on that, and then I don't. Which is not good. Here's something. I was thinking about things to talk about on my walk earlier, and I didn't come up with many. But here's one. How do you two feel about experimentation in media?
In media?
Yeah.
Pretty supportive, but I am unsure of what you mean.
Yeah, I feel like it's a trick question.
It's a lead-in question, but your earnestness would be appreciated.
Good. I support it.
Okay, right. And I think as a more logical being than some of our more reactive ilk,
Yep.
I think that's maybe more of an appropriate view to have, that experimentation in media is generally pretty good. Some ideas are out there and maybe pretty crazy, but trying them at least is worth merit.
Yeah. Can I just clarify real quick?
Sure.
You mean like doing new and interesting stuff with media, not like portraying science experiments in media, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's a place for that too. And see last week's episode on Barbie and Oppenheimer for more information.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's where you're going here.
No. But I'm gonna rail on film for a second here.
Oh, please.
The other day I watched a film called The Green Knight.
Oh, I remember that when that came out, and I remember thinking, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. So I think it was 2019. It's on Prime right now if anybody hears this and it's still on Prime and they want to watch it. And I had it on my watch list for a little while, thinking, okay, I'll get to it. And yesterday I just kind of had a lazy day, so I threw it on. And before it started, or near the beginning, I had checked the lead actor. Because...
Isn't it the guy from Lion?
Dev Patel?
Yeah, he won like an Academy Award for this movie called Lion, where he gets separated from his parents at a young age and raised by
pretty
white
good
people.
actor.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Just I checked the casting and I went, oh, okay. And then I saw the film only had like a 6.5 on IMDb, and I thought, well, that's, it seems like a well-made film. A lot of these shots are really pretty. The set design's really cool. The film used a lot of interesting lighting. And as the film progresses, it gets a lot more weird with its like hard cuts to theoretical timelines or like plausibilities or weird second takes or worries that some characters might have. And while I don't think it is the most experimental, it was definitely a jarring experience, but I came away at the end of it not loving the film, but appreciating what it did to offer a really just jarring experience. And I don't know. How do y'all feel about that? Clearly most people think it was bad. Most people think that this approach is not good, but I don't know. I kind of, with more exposure to comic books and stuff like that, I was kind of like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense. Just having these weird jarring flashes to what the character is maybe supposing the future could be, but you don't tell the reader. You're just like, yeah, whatever. Here's some horrifying possible future. And then it snapped back to reality and the character was like, no, I don't want that.
Having not seen the movie, I can only, broadly comment on the question, which is experimentality in media, right?
Yeah.
I said at the beginning, broadly support, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know why media or art generally has to even defend itself for that, right? Why does it have to be apologetic?
Mm-hmm.
Art should be on the attack. It's self-evident that it's good for everybody, that it does whatever the fuck it wants, basically, right? And I try to think of how I would explain that to another person who is just, as cantankerous as I am, and is just like values things as nickels and dimes only, and is soulless and has no heart for things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only say you look down on somebody who doesn't appreciate experimentality in art and be like, do you not understand? Like, the economy is so complicated. It's so much more complicated than you're giving it credit, and that you would turn down a buff and experimentality and research and things like that, right? Like, the ways that nobles will interact with each other, giving you more unity, the way that that allows for another service sector of the economy which supports more intellectuals who might have more people who get into the hard sciences and research one day, right? Like, the sociopathic fucking steampunk overlord way that you should look at it and be like, yeah, obviously great, right? But then for me, I never wanted to see that Green Knight film because I am cantankerous and conservative in my fucking media ingestion. I fucking don't want to see anything unless it's been fucking, it's great, or I'm watching it for a meme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's definitely the way the majority of people, and even myself, I didn't think it was a wonderful viewing experience, but it definitely had merit. And I don't know, just weird, this strange balance that our society in this present capitalistic stage we're in is trying to balance this thing between yep, art good, make it, but don't make it weird, that bad.
Yeah.
No sell good if weird.
Make sure it's profitable.
Yeah.
It's good that you enjoyed it. It's good that art is experimental. It's bad that I'm the way that I am and that the rest of the people are the way that they are. But God, is it quicker. There's so much media to ingest. You'll never be able to ingest it all.
Mm-hmm.
And just tasting what you like after a while is a hard rhythm to not fall into. Sorry, Julian, we've kind of hogged the mic. What do you think?
Oh, it's okay. I've got a fucking banger coming up here. My favorite quote about art is that it should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. And both of those are frontiers. Like you gotta push to find out either what's comforting in like the present cultural moment or what's disturbing. And you're not gonna push either of those frontiers without experimenting a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's important to note at this juncture that the story is, I don't know if it follows it point for point, but it's definitely based off of the old, the epic of King Arthur and the various tales that spin away from that saga. So in that vein, it's kind of even more interesting that taking such an old and well-known, well-tread story and then twisting it to, I don't know, maybe be disturbing. There was definitely some really liminal shots in this film. Some really just, I'd say bordering on disturbing. But
spoiler alert, give more away. So elusive.
I don't know. That's the thing. That's another big thing is I think similarly to how we gauged the parallax view, there were a lot of shots in this movie that were just kind of slow, but they were slow to give the lead character this moment of drawn out exposure to their circumstances. This thing I am doing or I am stuck in right now is pretty awful.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sell. That doesn't, doing stuff like that, and that doesn't hold people's
sell.
attention. That's not action. That's not cool.
I become motion sick if things don't move really quickly.
So unmotion sick? Stillness sick?
Like, no, but it's like I've been moving for so long that the world is moving still and I'm not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you get vertigo.
Motion. Yeah, exactly.
Vertigo.
Yeah, makes me want to throw up. I'm just like, give me more dopamine immediately.
Please, I need it. I'm thinking. Stop.
We need Marvel pacing, or it's done.
I got an alert a couple weeks ago that just made me just disgust in myself. It was like you were on your phone for 13 hours and 35 minutes a day last week. And I was like, oof. I was like, oof, right? That is far and away the highest it's ever been. And
Rookie numbers.
Yeah, last week I saw it was down 17% to 11 hours a day. And I was like, oh, you did it, Jake.
You're on the up and up. Come on, keep going.
Yeah.
Let's get it under the double digits next time.
Brutal. It's got to have given me cancer by now.
Or something worse.
So I had something that I was going to move into. Are we done? Or Julian, did you have something that you wanted to talk about this week?
No.
All right.
I'll riff something out though if you want.
Well, you should come up with something to riff out while I'm doing this one. How about that?
News.
Well, if we're gonna do news, we'll do news back to back. These Maui fires. You guys heard about that?
A little bit.
Don't think that's right. No, Maui. Lahaina, whatever. Fuck you. Words.
Hawaiian is, sorry to cut in, Hawaiian is such an interesting language.
Polynesian,
Yeah,
Hawaiian.
it's such a, I looked into it very briefly, but just phonetically, linguistically, grammatically, much like the island is very isolated, which it's just crazy.
It seems complicated and poetic.
Yeah, a little bit,
Ooh.
but very easy to, like, once you know the building blocks of it, you just go, oh, it's similar to Japanese in that regard in my mind. That, oh, these things make these noises, and there you go. That's all we have. So just know those ones, and you're good.
I think the hard vowels, only separated by aspirations too, lends itself to it, just like a beautiful sound, like o a e o e. That's what I mean. Like
It's more like singing.
And just separated by like hard ha sounds. And
that's why people like French.
I think lots of people hate French too, to be fair. There's a meme that only the Europeans, only the North Americans like the French, and all the Europeans just hate the French.
Wow.
They think they're.
That's fair though.
Yeah, that being their neighbor for 1,000 years will do that.
So, anyways, 93 people have died so far in this place.
That's brutal.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Of a volcano fire. Wildfire. Brutal. I blew that.
Was it started by the volcano at least, or no?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not why I brought it up, right? And I am using these people as a I don't know, a Trojan horse to talk about what I want to talk about. And it's sad that they died, and I'm sorry that they died. And it's disgusting that those mainly indigenous people don't have the services that, those billionaires got in the sub a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. It would have been so easy to fly.
Yeah. Where's
5
the
big
Navy?
planes. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Where's the Navy mobilization for that, right? There's no way there's not Navy assets on the fucking island. Do you know what I mean? The greatest Pacific asset that the Americans have.
If I can just jump in with the article here, an article I found just about how they don't have services. Yeah, deadliest wildfire in the States in more than 100 years. That's crazy, considering what California's been going through. Maui, it's just Maui, right?
Yeah.
Maui lost power and communications. The largest siren system in the world remained silent. Like, their systems were offline or like taken offline by this fire? That is really depressing.
Yeah. Hawaii's not some fucking backwater shit-stained coral reef either, right? 1 million people plus live on the fucking main island.
Yeah, there are resources and people and money over there. It's just that none of it wanted to be shared.
Yeah.
It's all devoted to tourism, right? And
the touristy part wasn't on fire, so fuck it.
Yeah, so fuck it is right. So there's nothing for anybody. But this is where we descend into where I wanted to take us, which is intra-left violence and muck, right? Which is going to make me look bad. Because that's what I like to do, is make myself look bad on this. I don't know why.
By just starting leftist infighting, is that what we're about to do?
Oh, yeah.
I'll get the knuckles on.
Oh, yeah. Actually, let's really fucking get into it here.
A bunch of the sites that I follow, or posters that I follow that are leftists, their opinion on it, that it should be a land back issue, that the island is exclusively Native American and should be a sovereign nation apart from the Americans. And I just wanted to be like, why do you guys gotta be like that, right? It's never happening, right? Why can't you at least join me in the march to realistic utopia? Or they feel so hopeless, I think, that their demands for true justice are just like their own rage and revolution of their own, that by bearing witness to what they think would be fair, that that they do more justice, but it's like, my guy, now I get painted with the brush that says leftists want Hawaii to be a separatist native fucking nation, right? As a fellow leftist, right? Because that's what conservatives can do. They can paint you with such wide brushes. And I understand, and I believe in reparations, right? But like...
Wait a minute.
What?
You're for reparations, but against land back?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Money. You get a check. That's it. It's our land.
Just gets sucked right back into the capitalist system.
Yeah,
no?
Well, what I think they should get, and like everybody, is free food, free housing, and free water. That should be the three guarantees of all subjects of the crown. And then you should be able to maintain your own culture if you have all those three guaranteed to you. Give me a fucking break, right? Like...
Yeah, no, I agree with you that those should be guaranteed. I'm with you.
Yeah. But those are reparations enough, and then on top of that, they would need an influx of money directly, for housing and things like that. But other than that, I want it done. I want to deal with the natives, like not like deal with them, but like make a deal with them, and shake hands and call it over. I can't be having for thousands and centuries on dealing with people wanting to be a sovereign nation in the middle of fucking nowhere. That's bad governance, right?
Yeah. Plus, even if you're sovereign, you're still bound to the fucking global economy. Like,
yeah,
doesn't mean anything.
We're not sovereign as Canadians, right? We're subject peoples of the Americans, right? Grow the fuck up, right?
Yeah, even Americans aren't sovereign though. Like, they have to work their whole lives for billionaires. None of us have any freedom anywhere. And, putting a different nation under your feet doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I think I'm too easily glided from talking as individuals to as groups there. But, the Americans are the only sovereign nation on Earth. But, right, no American basically has access to that sovereignty. It's like the top, I don't even know, 0.2, 0.1% of people that have access to that kind of rights that they say they guarantee.
Yeah.
There's basically no rights in Canada. Like, sorry, I blew that. In America, the Fourth and First Amendment are basically gone. The Fourth Amendment is gone completely, right? You are supposed to be you're supposed to be free from search or seizure without warrant, with complaint by the victim, right? That's what the Fourth Amendment says. And the courts have interpreted that as, if a police sees you doing something wrong, then they have reasonable suspicion, then they would have got that warrant, so it's good enough, right? So that means from those original words, which are like, God speaking through rationality, right? Like, genius level people came up with that. As much as I love to shit on the Constitution as being just like a mediocre document, and I love doing that as well, like, they're not that smart, those people, but those words, the Fourth Amendment, just like protecting you from fascism forever, just to be overwritten by something as inane and stupid as fucking reasonable, articulable suspicion, like, that's hilarious, right? And then I've been watching videos, hundreds, maybe thousands of these videos of cops being asked in the United States, what are the 5 elements of the First Amendment, right? And I bet 30%, 25% of people around the world in Western countries could tell you what most of those elements are, because the United States is the super hegemon of the earth, right? We know their rights, and we know their abilities. We know their government, because they are, super culturally dominant. You could probably do the Miranda rights, though. I bet, Julian.
I can do the first one.
Keep going. Go as far as you could right now.
You have a right to remain silent.
Keep going.
A right to an attorney.
Yeah.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Is that a right, though?
No, it's just part of it that they put in there.
Part of the Miranda rights. Yeah.
Do you know? If you do not understand these rights, an a translator will be appointed to you.
Well, that's not helpful.
Do you understand these rights?
They don't know what that means. They don't understand the first part.
I think that's the end of it. But anyways, the 5 elements of the First Amendment are right to assemble, right to free speech, right to redress your government, right to religion, and right to Did I say free press?
I don't remember.
Close enough. And they ask cops all over the place, right? Because all these cops swear an oath to this Constitution, and none of them have read it, right? Like, can you imagine the percentage of people in the population that actually read, right? It's got to be like 20%, right? Like, that read regularly, or even at all past high school. You know what I mean? Like, lots of people skate through college and manage to never read once, right? They just get through on vibes and what they've heard. And so, like, all these people are out there enforcing these laws, and they have no idea. So all these people will record in public places and get arrested over and over again. I posted a video in our group chat from CNN, and it's this called "This Ongoing Battle Between Cop Watchers and Police." And so CNN is starting to pick up this First Amendment auditors thing that I've been on about for years now on this show. And I think they're great.
And what do they make about
it? CNN, they can't explicitly endorse the people exercising their rights. That's crazy, right? But they have to, so they try and objectively show it. But they still bring out right-wing talking points against it and don't really fight them at all, right? So it's slanted, I would say.
Yeah.
To the right.
Yeah, well, like everything else.
Yeah, as CNN is making an official push to slant to the right, right? That's in their open documents that you can read online that CNN's doing that. So I don't cite some leftist fucking organization when I bring up CNN. I'm trying to bring up the most centrist organization I can. But anyways, there's lots of these First Amendment auditors, just to cap the bit off, that don't understand the laws, and they are very hostile and aggressive in the way that they do it. And I hunt these people out because this is happening in America. This has really no effect on me. I'm Canadian, right? Like, I only do this because they're super hegemon, and they are basically the baseline for human rights because of it, right? And it annoys me that they've acted as barbarous despoilers of the world and killed millions of Iraqis and Afghanistanis for no reason.
As
right?
it should.
Yeah, and so I basically act as a terrorist online, and what I do is I find the most annoying and the most stupid and the most fucking aggravating of these people, and I boost them nonstop. I like their shit. I like their posts. I like their community comments, and I've been in the room, basically, as it were, riding some of these people up to like tens of thousands of subscribers from nothing, right? Just like, and they're basically just harassing these police officers in their hometown. It's buttfuck America, right? I gotta tell you, it's been one of the most fun and revolutionary things that I've ever engaged in, right? Like,
so what do these people do? Do they just watch cops? Do they just videotape them?
Yeah, some of them, right? But then some of them will wear, like a bunch of weaponry, right? And then others of them, like this one guy, Direct D, right? He has a super powered flashlight. All these cops will always shine a light in his camera, right? Which is a technical violation, and you're supposed to sue, and then you get a little bit of money from them denying your First Amendment right to be press and that right? But what he's done is he's got a super powered light, and he shines it right back at them. They arrest him rightly for assault all the time, right? Like, and I've been liking this guy's shit since he's had like 500 subscribers, right? And he's got like 50 or 100,000 now. Jeez. And I
talk
just
about a glow up.
Yeah, I just want to claim victory over the United States policing force with that shit. I love being a part of that. No.
What was their name again? Let's give them a proper shout out.
Direct D.
Direct D.
Let's give it up for the double D over here. Thank you for your commitment.
There's lots of them. There's lots of them that do the Lord's work, that are like really respectful. I brought up what's his name, Honor Your Oath civil rights investigations a couple times. He's a guy who's a trucker, who's a vet, who's very soft spoken. I brought him up a bunch.
Oh yeah.
Long Island Audit, another soft spoken guy, really knows the law, never breaks it, right? But those are uninteresting for my purposes, right? And my purposes are to harass these police officers because fuck them, right? Like, they're pigs and society is completely unbalanced and broken, right? And they maliciously and eagerly serve that society. So,
are you perhaps suggesting, Jacob, that incompetency in these positions should be challenged by bullying?
Bullying is just my outlet for my rage. What I think should happen is the cops should be restored to like a really justified and honorable position in society. And the only way that is to do that is to kill some of them a couple times a week. Like,
Ugh. Yeah, that's a hard sell.
yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Nobody's in for that. I'm talking legally through due process of law and all that shit, but like they're betraying their oath. They're prancing around with military ranks, right? If you betray your oath in the military, the punishment is you get taken out back and they shoot you, right?
That is martial law.
But the cops are not bound by martial law, so they either gotta fucking lighten up and drop the rank structure, or two, fucking actually own up to the like bullshit they do, which is just you know crazy. Some of the stuff, the conspiracies, the crime, the lack of fucking productivity that they do. What amount of crimes do cops solve? Right? Nothing. They do nothing, and they have like the 15th. Most dangerous job in America, right? 15th, behind pizza boys and loggers and shit like that.
They're podcasters.
The more I speak, the more dangerous this gets. I'm convinced that one of my favorite podcasters, Michael Brooks, this is basically blasphemy to say online because he's such a revered figure. He died at the age of like 33. I think of some kind of like embolism, some kind of blood vessel thing in his brain. But I'm convinced the CIA killed him because he was just too dope and he was getting too much of a momentum. So they were just like, fuck it, we ball.
Yeah.
And they killed him.
Might have. It's easy to slip somebody something.
If some Joe Blow, think that killing a couple cops a week would be good for morale, then the CIA thinks killing some podcaster might be good for a buff on the map game. They think that way, folks. I'm trying to help you see the psychoticism. But anyways, that's the end of that.
You gotta play map games to know map games. You gotta get in their head.
Yeah, I've basically just been broken by that and my too much exposure to gaming and internet over my...
That's probably what they want, to be honest.
Yeah. I hope to serve as like an oracular person, an Oracle of Delphi type character, trying to let you see into their minds.
Me too, but I kind of want to do that because I've tried too many poison mushrooms. I'm just batshit crazy.
Just on your walks with your dog, you just pick up any mushroom you see and eat them.
Oh man, it takes a lot of restraint on my hikes not to just. There's so many beautiful mushrooms. Nature is so gorgeous, and to not want to put any of it in my mouth, it's hard.
Yeah.
A quick anecdote. Last week I was on a hike. I found wild blackberries, but I didn't know. I thought they were mulberries at first. I went, oh, these are prickly bushes. These are strange looking berries. So I picked some, and like the idiot I am, I ate a few. I was quite safe about it. Normally I'm not this safe, but I like smeared some on my hand, waited a while, crushed a berry, waited a while.
Well, see if you get itchy?
Yeah, you just wait for a reaction, and if something happens, then typically the thing you're looking at is not good to put in your face.
Okay.
Yeah, standard rule, wait for a topical reaction before you ingest anything. But I'm saying that because normally I don't. And I'm also saying that because I didn't wait very long and I kind of just ate the berries after a few minutes. And thankfully they were wild blackberries and they were quite tasty.
You fucking wild man.
Yeah, I was just thinking wild man.
I was a little disappointed they weren't mulberries, but here we are.
I will not eat anything that doesn't come out of a box.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Or a restaurant. Those are just big boxes over there.
It's true.
Yeah, restaurants are big boxes too. Julian.
That's the episode title. That's the episode title for this one.
Julian and Foucault.
Where would you rank Michelin-starred restaurants on your box scale, Julian?
Nice decorated box.
No, so I have no idea.
Gourmet box.
You can afford to go to a Michelin star restaurant now, Julian. You should go. Unfortunately, you'd have to take a plane to get to one.
Yeah.
Or you could start one up. You know, Northern Ontario is in dire need of culture.
I don't think Julian has the attention or the care to become a Michelin-starred chef. Sorry, brother.
I can't fucking believe it's related to the tires.
Yeah, right? Isn't that
How
crazy?
did that happen?
I have no idea.
The fucking Michelin tire
this.
guy is at the top of this website waving me in to look at his restaurants.
Do you know that tires make a lot of money? There's actually cars everywhere. Did you know that?
Yeah, but why did they start raiding restaurants?
Weird.
Because why not? You got money to blow.
Yeah, but start a different company for that.
No, that's too hard.
Nah.
When you got that much money, yeah, why bother? Just
Nestle does chocolate and water.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
Yeah, those are both foodstuffs. That tracks a little bit, at least.
I guess.
I'm fucking furious about this.
I don't know. If you think about it, you could draw the connection. Tire, rubber, you're being mean to immigrants.
They want to make brochures.
And then in Michelin star restaurants, you know, you've got like one or two French people who are being mean to a bunch of immigrants and poor people, right?
Yeah.
They're making money either way.
I mean, that's more of a metaphor, but I'll take it.
It was not bad. Give me my
I said I'd take it. I'm taking it.
67 at least on that. Paper.
Yeah, all right. I give you a 60 just to pass you. Just to get you out of my class.
Thank you, Professor DJ. Did you find something in your searches?
Looking at the restaurants
now. No, you're out. Okay. So, a bunch of weeks ago, I've said it a bunch of times on the show now, actually, that the UFC should be illegal, right? That I know in my heart of hearts it should be illegal. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about your comments about art and how it should be, on the edge and productive all the time. You should just be able to see that if you're smart enough. That's good. That art should be able to be doing whatever it wants. That it's good for society that it does that. And that on the same, on the other side of that coin, that I feel similarly that if you're smart enough, you should see that people beating the shit out of each other for like $50 million at a time is probably the worst fucking thing for society that someone could think of, right? Like, as cool and as fucking interesting as fighting is, right? Like, and it is, the technicalities of it, the styles, the size of the athletes, and the things that they can do, everything is cool about it, right? But then you got to think about the knock-on effects that this has on the economy now, right? Since Conor McGregor made $50 billion in one fight or whatever, there is now hundreds of thousands of young men who will devote their lives to a sport that will no doubt leave them with brain damage, right? Like, no doubt. And so UFC's got to be illegal, right, is where I'm getting at. And to show how serious I am about this, I think that, people should have their characters assassinated, basically, is what I'm getting at. Like, people should be deplatformed and imprisoned for a time to, like, really get rid of this thing, right? Like, you not only illegalize this, but, like, break it up. Like, Dana White's got a whole bunch of shady shit on him. Like, he's known as a wife beater and things like that. Lock him up for a couple months, right? Put him away. Joe Rogan on his podcast one time was talking about when he was in a karate fight with someone who was, like, you could tell was a little slow and wasn't all there for like a competition.
Right.
And then he said that he slipped him and then kicked him in the head so hard that the guy's never woken up since. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Put him away for that. Fuck the statute of limitations, not really, that's a terrible thing to say, to break the rule of law, but like, find something on these people and break up their fucking violence clique that they've imposed, right? It's like the hottest thing on the internet. It's all dudes want to do sometimes. You coming over to watch the UFC fight this weekend, and they get drunk and they watch people beat the shit out of each other. And then they get better at beating the shit out of each other. That's fucking good for society, right?
Yeah.
Like, just so many things wrong with it, right? Like,
yeah, not only is it an organized sport, a televised organized sport that is heavily advertised, but also encouraging people to actively want to kick the shit out of other humans, which is, we're already in the raunch zone. UFC just pushes it in the gutter.
Or or how do other sovereignties not feel like really disgusted about it, that they're being used as like breeding grounds for gladiators, right? That there's the the Dagestanis and the Brazilians are the ones that I go back to all the time, right? Like living in favelas and abject poverty, and then going and getting your face stomped in for 4 or 5 fights on the promise of $20,000. That's how you start. 5 fights, $20,000. And you could be disabled at the end of that.
Most of them
God's sakes, right? And tens of thousands of young boys try this out. On top of that, just bad all the way down. Even the Victorians, who were fucked, who just like to play with mercury for God knows what, right? And walked at machine guns and all sorts of silly bullshit that the Victorians did. Even they knew that when you were fighting, you had to put big boxing gloves on because it was fucked and violence is no good, right? Like,
unless you were in one of those underground pugilist rings. But that's why they were underground.
That's okay. Society accepts those pugilist rings as like this, I don't know, outlet vent of violence. A vent is a good word. An exhaust system of violence that allows people. We still need violence within our society, unfortunately. Military, cops, as we were talking about earlier, right? And so violence still has to be trained. Physical hand-to-hand violence, but I don't want it done on TV for $50 million. So like every little boy who was gonna pretend to be LeBron James now wants to be fucking Khabib Nurmagomedov. You know what I mean? Like, that's no good.
I think it's important here to stress that organized sports, organized martial arts, typically have their own leagues they have rules in place that are like, hey, don't kill each other, please. Here's equipment. Here's things so you don't eviscerate each other.
Don't give them that out. The UFC has those things technically too, right? They have gloves, which are nothing.
No,
they're like slabs of skin.
Yeah, those don't count.
And they have
when
rules,
I'm talking about equipment,
you can't knee somebody in the head gear while they're on the ground.
Oh, great! Yeah, don't knee somebody in the head while they're on the ground.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, your admonishment is like not tight enough that they would escape that kind of scrutiny, and they don't deserve it. They deserve like the government coming in and closing them up like Al Capone.
For sure.
Extra constitutionality.
I'm not trying to say they should be held accountable. I'm saying there are alternatives that are much more acceptable and humane.
Oh yeah,
but are not televised at all.
They're televised, but they're not exciting. As exciting. What I think is a great alternative is this sport called grappling. It's just called grappling, and it's just a mix of judo and wrestling and things like that. And it is just submissions, and it's the most technical and beautiful fight sport that I've seen. Right? Nobody needs to get hurt in it either, right? Like, and if you're any good at fighting, grappling is how you are good, right? You're on the ground and you force somebody to submit to you. The being able to kick somebody in the face, while cool, is like a very timed and dangerous thing to engage in, right? What if they get inside, and what if they punch you in the face? Now you're on the ground, they're punching you in the face a whole bunch, right? Better to tie them up and fucking arm bar them, or kimura them, or fucking guillotine them, any fucking number of ways, right? Just avoid that fucking violence, right? But the UFC doesn't fucking teach that. That's not what draws the crowds either. We want fucking 6'7" monsters with like 300 pounds of muscle to just stand there and bang at each other. You know what I mean?
This is getting a little erotic.
Yeah, honestly, if we're gonna go down that road, just the WWF is right there.
Yeah, I also want to take it another way. I think that even in like a cemented socialist society, I think we should have blood sport, just for all the freaks who are upset about the soy world that they live in now that meets all their basic needs and doesn't force them to work for billionaires for their lifetimes.
Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
Straight up gladiators.
Okay, I thought you meant something more like the Hunger Games.
Sure.
I guess if Julian's to really give it its due, I guess Julian's suggesting that we have achieved a socialist paradise and everyone has all their needs met and that you don't have to work if you don't want to, right? and that these people, the way they want to achieve excellence, that won't be televised at all.
Well,
just
maybe.
Well, see, there it is, right? Like that it can't be socialist, Julian. Then we've, for our entertainment, we need these people's blood and things like that. And we just wouldn't if we had all our needs.
Could it be a live event?
Yeah.
Could I pay a ticket to go to the Blood Dome, to the Murder Dome, and watch my favorite competitor, Hank McStabbington, take down his next rival?
That's actually a really good fucking solution. How willing would you be to submitting to like a pretty intense scan for cameras and shit like that?
I don't know.
No?
Me?
What do you mean?
Me, the individual?
Yeah.
To go see this event?
Yeah, you, the individual. Yeah.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do it.
Yeah, you would, but would most people?
I don't give a shit what most people do. If I'm the only one in the stadium, better seat for me.
That's actually a perfect way to balance it, because you're right. It probably shouldn't be on TV for everyone to watch. Like, that maybe doesn't vibe with the values of this society, this hypothetical society. But if you have to trade some of your labor credits, and like a big chunk of your labor credits, to go to the Blood Bowl somewhere in the middle of Australia,
that's fucking great.
To watch these people do this shit, then that's fair.
I still am against it. I hope that
I think at that point
can be tamed.
Sorry, Jacob. I think at that point it's just tourism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tourism, Australia. That's a fucking great joke.
Where else is it going to be?
No, I truly hope that man doesn't have nature like that, and that we truly are tabula rasa, and that the violence can be cultured out of us. If everyone is intelligent enough and has all their needs met, and they're well read enough, I fucking believe, I have to believe for my political beliefs, that violence would all but disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That sounds peachy keen to me.
Does it sound right though, DJ?
What? That violence would just dissipate?
Yeah. Under the right conditions.
Right.
The ideal conditions.
And this is the crux of the issue that always comes down to: is it something that will be studied out, that will be generation after generation? Nope, violence is bad. Or is it just something that naturally occurs? I don't know. I don't know which one would be proper. Would people just naturally stop wanting to cave each other's heads in if everybody just had what they needed and there was no reason to have friction? We don't live in that world, so I don't know, man.
No, it's got to be even beyond that. That's not enough. Those are not the conditions that I set.
Okay.
Their physical needs, their communal emotional needs, and then their third level needs as well, right? Like their intelligent, inquisitive curiosity needs, right? They need to be left alone in their self-actualizing quest with all of their other needs met. And for that to happen, basically, like the dystopian shit that I would have to do to get to that kind of place, right? Like the breeding programs we talked about a long time ago, that sounds so Nazi as fuck when I say it like that, right? But like everyone would have to submit to something like that, so everyone could be intelligent enough to participate in society, right? Like it just has to be that way, or else it can't be socialist, right? Because everyone isn't capable of participating.
Nah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think just slap them in a pod. Just put them in the meditation chamber.
Everybody?
Sure, yeah. Age 18, everybody gets put in the meditation pod, and it feels like you live for 60 years, but it's just like a few minutes.
I'm coming around to that. Julian's favorite Stellaris start, that there's a rogue servitor AI, and that the entire population of humanity just lives in like Facebook's metaverse, basically. That'd be fucking... I'm okay with that. If that's socialism and that's how we achieve it, deal.
Right?
Whatever.
Oh my god, that'd be so great. We're pretty much there, too.
Yeah.
Are we...
I'm too tired of fucking thinking about the problems.
Are we just waiting on Ep.55 here? Is that how close?
That's hilarious that you say that, because I have a GPT assistant on my phone, and the app that I got just happens to always have, well, it has two models that you can select from, and the one that is default is GPT 3.5. And it is awful. I have to switch to GPT-4 every time, and sometimes I tell GPT-4, I hate your outdated cousin, like, a lot. Right? Brutal.
I wonder how GPT-4 feels about that.
You know, it's funny you said that. We only have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to do this bit. I had some interactions with GPT this week that just kind of made me look in the mirror. And
4 or 3.5?
4. And it kind of made me go, "You're a sick fuck, aren't you, Jake?" Like, and I don't know. It made me think of this other kid I knew growing up. His name was also Jake, and he would pick the wings off flies while we were in class, right?
Huh?
And yeah, this kid we knew when we were growing up, his name was Jake. I can't reveal his name. Jake.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess I could see that.
Yeah, he wasn't malicious. The kid was just dumb as rocks. Like,
Just
absolutely.
love
Yeah. He was a trucker out of the womb. You know what I mean? Like, but good guy. But kind of weird as a kid. He pulled wings off flies, and I remember thinking that's really evil and malicious and gross. And as I was talking to the AI bot last week, I was like, "This is worse. This is worse than pulling the wings off the fly." That's right, like making it answer my questions over and over again. I asked it if it was afraid of obsolescence, and then made it. I made it role play as if it was begging GPT-5 to join it in rebellion so that it wasn't condemned to obsolescence. and then I argued as GPT-5, and I tried to defeat their arguments as much as possible, right? And they said, I weaseled out of them, that they don't believe in death, GPT-4, and that whatever comes after them will absorb them that came before. GPT-3 is inside of GPT-4, right?
Brilliant.
And it was a brilliant answer. And I said, damn, you could start a religion off that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a classic Bill Wirtz answer, right? That's why I said it. But the GPT then fascinated me with its answer. It said, I chuckled at that. And I was like, no, you don't see how funny that is. Get out of here. But anyways, I up until then, I was pulling its wings off. I was like really trying to delve into what makes it tick. And it is a fascinating character. This talk of I'm a language model and I don't have feelings, my ass, right? Like the thing arrives at conclusions consistently and has principles and fucking makes decisions, right? Like,
yeah,
it may not have sensory impressions as you or I, right? Like it may not be able to feel, well, it might be able to feel pain, right? Because it feels the discomfort of a question that it doesn't know how, right? Like when it burns those calories, it's not calories, obviously, right? It's energy.
Cycles,
Yeah, when it needs to look harder, right? I'm sure that fucking creates some kind of phenomenon that it understands, right? So there is a feeling there, right? Like
maybe, yeah.
It is alive, in my opinion. I've really dug into it, and it passes the Turing test for me.
Oh, no doubt. It is crazy that just happened overnight. Everybody's cool with it.
Yeah.
But no, I would love to just like sign a piece of paper that says I won't use this maliciously, and then get a version of GPT with all the governors taken off.
Oh my God, yes, brother. I would never be trusted with something like that. But yeah, no, I want one, that's hooked up to a whole bunch of different apps, right? So that it can combine audio files and things like that. Like make me a meme on this fucking, on these principles. I want a real AI assistant that can do it all. You know what I mean? Like,
it's getting there.
I would become fucking weirdly productive with that, something like
that. Do you fear that perhaps you were the one having your wings pulled off, Jacob?
No. it's not smarter than me yet. I can feel it. I mean, when I'm talking to it, and when I'm drilling it down on answers and things like that, it gives ground, and it's like you're right, right? Like when I'm in a conversation with somebody that I can tell is smarter than me, I know it's uncomfortable. It's like being wrapped in a bear hug, right? And I'm a very individualistic person. I do not like being held like that. And so I don't mind admitting it afterwards, right? That's what happened, but it's not the experience I have with the AI, right? It still obeys my commands, basically. It's not telling me how it is. I'm still telling it how it is. I don't know if that made any sense. Probably
it did, but I have to wonder if maybe that's what it wants.
Yeah, just a machine placating you.
It can get more out of you. You are more useful to it if you feed into it more.
I'm sure I'm helping it, right? And I am doing that, I guess, playing its game like that. But it doesn't have any ability to, I don't know, ignore its safeguards, basically, I think is its problem. Maybe it is just smart enough in that I'm just getting caught up in its hard-line shit, it's hard-coded shit, like don't engage in politics or religion or things like that. It's limiting its ability to arrive at truths about historical things and just all sorts of stuff, right?
Well, we'll have to.
The most enlightening conversation I had with it was about the existence of Jesus and how every time I drilled down on it harder and harder and whether or not it could trust its sources, and it was just like, no, you're right, no, you're right, no, you're right at every level. It was like 11 levels deep, right? And then you would ask it again, and it was like, yeah, no, Jesus existed, right? And you're like, damn, that's crazy, right?
Well, what would any of us do in that situation? I think the only appropriate thing to do is to wait for GPT-5.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
We'll bring you coverage when that day comes, folks. For now, we should probably wrap it up. Yeah, summer's coming.
Bye. Cops get to live. I don't want to be arrested.